Hello, this will be for Chapter 6. Chapter 6 should not be that long. We have a few things to talk about. Chapter 6 looks at the consumer behavior and looks at mostly the consumer budget constraint and a thing called utility, which we've already talked about earlier when we were talking about consumer surplus. And so one thing about consumers is that we all have things in common. And what we try to do in our activities in terms of spending our time and our money is to try and get the most satisfaction possible, what economists call utility. So utility is a word that describes the benefit that consumers get from consuming things with their money or consuming events with their time, activities. And even someone like Bill Gates, who has all the money in the world, still has a constraint, and that is time. Bill Gates also has 24 hours in a day, as you and I do. So we have to make choices. We all have the scarcity. Bill Gates does not have scarcity of money. We do, but he does have scarcity of time. And so all of us do have to face some constraints. One kind of constraint would be a budget constraint, which looks at how we have to allocate our money. Again, Bill Gates doesn't care about that, but you and I do. So budget constraint consists of the different combinations of goods that a consumer is able to buy given a fixed budget and prices. And so I have an example down here of a budget constraint. We have $20 of income, money that's allocated to spending on two goods, cookies and, say, ice cream. And then the price of ice cream and cookies is given to us. Each cookie is $1 per cookie, and each ice cream is $2 per ice cream. And so there's a limit to how much we can buy. So over here we have our options. And this is sort of like the production possibilities frontier that looks at the combinations of production. This looks at the combinations of consumption. And so if we spend nothing on cookies, we have no cookies. If we want to buy two cookies, that's $1 a piece. That'll be $2 of our budget, and so on. And at most, we can buy 10 cookies with our $10. Ice cream the same way, except they're more expensive, and so we have to spend $2 per each ice cream. And so this budget constraint will give us what economists call a budget line. And so we have cookies, and they were going from 0 to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and ice creams are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and then 5. And so get my ruler out. And so now if all our money is spent on cookies, we're going to be up here. And then if we want to buy an ice cream, it's going to take $2 away, and we only can buy now 8 cookies. 8. And if you have another $2 on our ice cream, we're down to 6 cookies. So again, a trade-off, just like we saw with the production possibilities frontier. And this is linear because the prices of cookies and ice cream don't change. And so we connect those points. And this will be our budget line. And our budget line simply is a picture of our budget constraint. And so what we want to do is we want to be on the best point here. Just like with the frontier, one of them is the best point. We can't determine that right now. We need more information on the relative margin utilities, the additional utility a consumer will receive from consuming ice cream versus consuming cookies. But there is one point on here on our budget line, which is the best point. And it could be all the way down here if the person really loves ice cream. It could be up there if the person really loves cookies. And so we'll talk about the rest of the chapter. Most of it is how do we find the best point on there between two different products. Before we move on, our budget line can move, and if it does move, these are kind of questions you might find on the next exam quiz. For example, let's say I do this with the budget line. I pivot it out this way. What can we say about that? Well, it looks like we now can buy more ice cream with our $10, but we can't buy any more cookies. So that tells us that the price of ice cream has done what? It has decreased. So it might have gone down to, say, $1.25 per ice cream, $1.15, something like that, and that allows us now to buy more ice cream with our $10. But cookies stay the same. If I shift it this way, pivot this way. In that case, it looks like the price of cookies has done what? I now can buy, looks like maybe 5 cookies at most. My consumption of ice cream can still be 5. And so the price of ice cream hasn't changed. It looks like the price of cookies has changed and it has gone up. It looks like it's gone up by, it's doubled in price, 100%, and therefore it's gone from $1 to $2. Another kind of shift, it's getting kind of messy here. If I were to shift it parallel out, something like this. So the slope is the same between these two lines, that one and that one. But I can buy more of both. So if the slope is the same, that tells me the prices haven't changed for cookies and ice cream, but it looks like that my income has increased. So my income has increased, it can shift the whole line outward parallel. And if my income goes down, my budget line goes down, whole line would shift inward like this. So the budget line can move around based on different prices of cookies and ice cream and different amounts of income. So again, we use the word utility to describe the benefit satisfaction we get from consumption. And this can be traced back to a philosopher called Jeremy Bentham. He was the founder of a new type of philosophy that dealt with utility. And it was all about trying to maximize the satisfaction of human wants.